This time on Scott's Garage, we're going to build this really attractive floor mirror that's in Wordsmith magazine. Should be really fun. Hello and welcome to Scott's Garage. It's a new project day. I selected out of Wordsmith magazine, volume 47, number 278. They have this attractive called a multi-purpose floor mirror. Looks great. I'm going to put a better picture up here. And so it's made in two pieces. It has kind of a back U shape and then a front U shape. So it has a lot of challenges that we're going to encounter when we're going to do this. I'm going to make a lot of changes from the plan that they have because I don't like some of the things that they did, and we're going to change some of those around. And but the first thing I want to do is try to address this mirror. I have a mirror here that I got from the bedroom upstairs, and it's not the right size. In fact, I was looking at the size of the mirror that they use, and I couldn't find any mirror that size anywhere. So I don't know what they did. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to cut this mirror, which I don't think I've ever done before, and see how it comes out and see if it's able to be cut. If not, we'll probably just throw the whole thing in the trash and go have lunch. Sound good? All right, so step one, let's cut a mirror. It doesn't really say the size of the mirror until you get to the page with all the materials and supplies. So it says the mirror is 13 1/4 by 53 1/2, and I'll put a better picture of it up here. They kind of, I think they may say it here. Probably not. So anyway, what I'm going to try to do, that mirror that I have is bigger in both directions. So what I'm going to try to do first is just cut off the beveled part of it. Let me show you. And it's got a bevel all the way around, which is nice, but I don't think that's going to work for our purposes. So what I'm going to try to do, the first thing is just cut off like a small strip of the bevel to see if this can be cut or not. So let's do that now. I have worked on a few projects where I had to cut some glass, but I think this is the only time when I actually had to cut a mirror. So it's kind of a new process for me, and I'm not sure that my old cutter is up to the task. So I just thought I would cut off about 1.5 inches from this edge and see how it goes. But when I was scoring it, it didn't seem to make that like that cutting noise when you're cutting glass. So I think the wheel was just really dull, and I think the results prove that out. Shoot. Okay, so it's a couple days later, and I ordered a newer glass cutter. My old cheapy $2 one, I think, is not going to be up to the task. So I went ahead and ordered this one through Amazon. I'll put a picture up here of how much I paid for it and everything. Let's look and see what I got with the kit. Mutter 9-piece glass cutter tool, dropper, glove, and mirrors. Yeah, it came with some nice gloves, but it's kind of hard because I can't work the camera when I'm wearing gloves. So it has a bunch of tips, 2 to 6 millimeter, 5 to 12, and 12 to 20. This mirror is around 3 millimeters thick, so we'll use the 2 to 6, and it comes with a couple of handles and this little squirter thingy so you can put oil in it, and this nice little screwdriver so you can change out the bits. But I don't really need that squirter thingy because I kind of have this nice chain lube here, and that's going to work great. Just put it in there, and then when we're scoring it, a little bit of the oil will come out as we're doing it. Now that I have this new tool, I can really feel it cutting the mirror, and you can hear it scraping. So that's a really good sign. I think we have a really good chance of making this one work. Ah! That looks so good. Ah, damn it. Hello and welcome to Daily Affirmations from Scott Bellinger. Scott is not a licensed psychologist and holds no degrees whatsoever, but he is an enthusiast about personal health, and hopefully it can help you too. Scott, it doesn't matter if you can't get everything in your woodworking projects correct. That's okay. Or if every time you try to cut the mirror, it breaks, that's okay too, because you're good enough, you're strong enough, and doggone it, people like you. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. 13 and a quarter is right here. If I did this, I could actually salvage it. So I just got out my grinder here and some sandpaper. I didn't even know that you could sand glass or a mirror, but apparently you can. And I came up with this setup where I had to cut the uh, long side of it. And so what I did is I put some water softener salt bags just to kind of hold it down. And then the hot tip that they showed was to use something round, like a dowel or a piece of conduit or something, right where the score mark is. So after I scored it, I put the piece of conduit underneath there. And then I used that board to kind of put even pressure all along and just push down with my foot, and it snapped. I had a little bit of an edge sticking up, but I was able to address that with the grinder. All right, well, there she is. 53 and a half long by 13 and a quarter. Can't believe it actually worked. I don't know if leaving this bevel on here is going to cause any problems. I think it might be hidden, I hope. But that's it. So we have the glass ready to go. I have the leather up there. Really, the only thing left is some wood. So I want to try to cut these pieces, or not cut, but glue up these two pieces and these two pieces. Because those are the longest pieces and I don't have anything that long. But let's see if we can glue it up and make it. So the reason that I'm going to a lot of effort to glue up these straight pieces, because what they did is in the design they have it made out of inch thick material, which makes it really, really difficult. I've got tons of 3/4 thick all over the place of all different kinds, but the 1 inch thick, I only had these smaller blanks about 2 feet long. So what I had to do is cut them up into smaller pieces and then glue them end to end. Then I decided to put them together with biscuits. I was able to put two numbered 10s in each joint. I was able to cut the biscuit and then flip it over and then cut the other side so I could put two top and bottom, which is a little harder with 3/4, but with 1 inch it works pretty good. And then glue them together. And then if you notice, also for extra strength, I use some pocket screws to really hold that thing together. Now, this is an inside project. I mean, the stand-up mirror is never going to be outside exposed to the elements. So I really don't need to use Titebond 3 for outside. And I was watching Cam from Blacktail Studio, and he was telling me about some recommendations. It wasn't him, but he was just relaying messages that some people are starting to not use the Titebond 3 unless you really need it for outdoor projects because there is some strength issues to it. So I think what I might do is after this project, I might go back to the Titebond 1 or 2 for these type of things rather than just using the Titebond 3 for everything. So just putting this into my clamp, and the craft paper there that I put is placed at a very specific point where the joint is because the glue will squirt out a little bit, and if I don't have that paper there, then the black metal on the clamps really leaches black into the joint and it's almost impossible to get out. You can see me using just about every clamp that I have in the shop to glue up all my pieces. So this is for the mirror surround, and you can see that I have the two long pieces and then the top and bottom pieces, which I had to glue up to be thinner because they're not 2.5 inches wide, they're 3.5. So after the glue's dried, you can see I'm just cutting these to length, marking it and cutting it. And if you look really closely, you can see where I did those pocket screws using the Craig system. Works really great. I love that. Then I'm just sanding the interchange, I guess you'd call it, where the two pieces come together just so I have a smooth transition between the two pieces, just kind of hit the high points. And now the rest of the parts are dry. I can take them out of the clamps and we can start working on them as well. So now I'm marking the top and bottom for biscuits, and I'll do the same thing where I'll do 2 number 10s, one top, one bottom, and that should give a pretty strong joint, but then I'm also going to come back and do pocket screws. Then we'll do the same thing in the side pieces. Those are looking pretty good. And then this happened. I was moving my saw and this piece fell off and I didn't leave it long enough to dry, and it kind of came apart. I wouldn't say it really broke. It sort of fell apart because the glue wasn't quite dry yet. And so that cemented my opinion that I need to have it dry for longer. Maybe the Type Bond 3 isn't the best thing for the job, and I definitely need to use those pocket screws. Here I made a bit of a mistake and I kind of had to fix it with a chisel. When I was routering, I left a little bit of a lip on this one section, and it was kind of satisfying to just be able to peel it off with a chisel, and it came out really nice, especially after a little bit of a sand. Now we'll just work on the assembly of the mirror surround and glue that up with some biscuits and clamps. Now in the plan, what they did is they did a lot of like mortise and tenon. Well, for me in my shop, those are really hard to cut, especially when they're using the drill like at an angle. They have a pretty complicated setup for cutting those. Thought it was just much easier for me to cut everything and use my biscuit joiner. So I thought that was a really good solution to make it a lot easier for me and my shop to make this part. So we've got an 1.5 inch radius here, and I just go use anything I can find. I don't have any fancy circle templates. I just use this roll of tape or anything else, and it looks like 1.5 inch radius translates to 3-inch diameter, and so it allows me to cut that round over. And we'll just round it over with the jigsaw and then give it a little bit of a sand afterwards. Just come in with my orbital sander and give the whole thing a good sand. I did fill with putty those screws. Not sure that was such a good idea to do, but that's what I did. And then here I am just changing over to a round over bit so I can round over all the corners for the mirror surround. So let's start working on the back piece. It's a rectangular part that tees into the back of the plywood and kind of supports the whole unit. What we're going to do here first is we're going to start ripping both styles for the front and the back one. I had wide enough material to do one of the styles, but I had to glue this other one up because it wasn't quite thick enough. So I just used like regular 1x2, which would be 3/4 by 1.5 inches. I put 2 1.5 inches together to make 3 because I was trying to make it 2.5 inches wide. Then I'll just clamp it up here and use just about every clamp that I have in my shop one more time. So here we have the top and bottom pieces. I'm going to start working on the top, drilling those holes. This is another variation from the design that I did. They had just one hole for a hanger. I think that's not enough. So I thought there's more room there. Why not put 3? So I put 3. Just one of those things that I changed the design along the way. And with my 3/4 bit in there, make sure it's clamped down. I was just watching a television program on PBS, one of the woodworkers, and he was trying to hold this piece of kind of just like this, but just picture it without the clamp on there. And he was trying to hold it, and he had a pretty big bit on there. And I just thought that's a really bad technique. You need to clamp things down in your drill press because they can spin around really fast and you can get injured. Then if you don't have a router table or anything, or you don't feel like getting your router table down from the attic, which I didn't, I just put my router in the vise, and then kind of used it sort of as a router table, and it worked really good. Just to round over, it's a 3/8 round over bit. So now we'll start working on the slipper tray. I had some material that I could use, and it was the right thickness, but wasn't the right size, so I had to glue up a couple of pieces. So I ripped some in the table saw and then did a little bit of a glue up for the slipper tray. Again, using biscuits, but this time I switched to a bigger number 20 biscuit, and I just used one in each side. And that should be plenty. And just getting my clamps down there and making sure that I wrap where the joint is with some of that craft paper, just so I don't get any bleed through. And we'll just glue this up and clamp it. So while the slipper tray is drying, the other pieces have completely dried, so I can go ahead and cut those to width and continue working on this back piece. Now the front piece there is at a 5-degree kickback angle. It's not 90, it's 85. And that allows the mirror to sit back a little bit at an angle. So when you're looking at it, you can see your feet and also your head to see your whole outfit. So what I need to do is cut some angles so it sits back at that 5-degree angle, and I'll do that right now.